first time that I realised Stormy wanted to identify as male was about 2.5.
He started being unhappy with wearing dresses, didn't like hair clips, didn't like the pigtails.
Hi everybody, Auntie speaks. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. The first time that I knew my child was trans was when they were age 2. That is what we are going to look at. We're going to look at a bunch of parents who have decided to listen to their 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 6-year-olds. When they tell them that they're the opposite sex, and they give them a big thumbs up and they start transitioning them. That is what we're going to look at.
First time that I realised Stormy wanted to identify as male was about 2.5.
He started being unhappy with wearing dresses, didn't like hair clips, didn't like the pigtails.
Stormy wanted to identify as male, but it's not he said, I want to be a boy. He said, I am a boy. And that is the difference.
The whole transgender thing, gender dysphoria, that's just an adult thing. He doesn't understand that. He's just a boy.
So the whole transgender thing is not a thing. He is a boy. And you knew that he was a boy because he said to you, I am a boy. So we're going to do a thought experiment. Your 2-year-old comes to you and says, I want a tattoo. I want to look like this gentleman. Now, no shade on tattooed people. Some of my favorite people in the world are covered with tattoos. And as far as I'm aware, this guy is like a really cool guy. I think his name is Jigsaw or something like that, but he's super famous because he has like the most tattoos. Okay, so no shade about tattoos. I think they're awesome. But your 2-year-old comes to you and says, I want a tattoo. What do you say to them? Okay, great. Let's go down to the tattoo parlor and let's get you a tattoo. No, you look at him and say, no, you can't have a tattoo. That's permanent. You are not old enough to make that decision. I know a bunch of tattoo artists. They will not tattoo someone under the age of 18. Not only because it is illegal to give a tattoo to someone under 18, but the tattoo artists that I know, there's lots of them that break that rule. But most of the ones that I know are very professional people, and they would never do it because that person cannot make a rational decision. Get where I'm coming at? If your 2-year-old can't have a tattoo, if you think they're too young to make that decision, then they can't decide to be the opposite sex.
I like a boy and I want to be a boy.
Before I had children, I would have thought it was ridiculous. I would have watched me and said, no, you're crazy. You're making it up. People don't criticise your face. People criticise really badly on social media. It's a classic. My son wanted to be a transformer when he was 4. Now he's changed his mind. I think that's meant to be a joke, that one.
I don't think it's meant to be a joke, sir. Kids want to be a lot of things. A lot of things. But their brains cannot see down the road. They do not know what consequences are because their life is minute to minute. Got it? Does that make sense? That's why that person wrote that to you.
On the 6th of March, we welcomed our beautiful twins into the world. A boy called Arlo and a girl called Emerald.
Ah. Twins. Did it ever occur to you that maybe this young girl just wanted to be like the young boy? Boys get to do a lot of really fun stuff. Did that never occur to you? Ever? Really?
I can't remember the exact moment it switched over, but there was that point where I thought, you know what, this isn't just a phase. This is not a little girl we're looking at here, it's a little boy. He started being unhappy with being dressed as a girl, so he started being unhappy with wearing dresses. Hair clips were a big no-no. Didn't like hair clips, didn't like the pigtails. He was genuinely upset at being dressed as a girl.
I really hate this. I really, really, really hate this. Do you know why I hate this? Because I am a girl. I know you can't tell because I'm really furry and fuzzy and really cuddly. But I am a girl. And I grew up with 2 older brothers. And there was nothing that my parents could do to make me act like a girl. In my generation, we called it a tomboy. I wore baggy clothes, I had short hair, and I was in sports 24/7. I joke, and most of my high school friends used to joke, that they didn't even know that I was really a girl until prom, where I actually wore a dress. And I think that's the first time anybody had ever seen me in a dress. There are generations and generations of females like this who didn't like girly things. I liked trucks. I liked to get dirty. I had a great aunt who tried to dress me in frilly dresses when I was 4. And I'd roll around in the dirt and pull it off until she finally gave up. Then she'd put me in another pretty dress, and then I'd rip that off, and I'd get that all dirty because I'd be playing with the boys. Was I a boy? No. I was a girl who had 2 older brothers, who was trying to be like her older brothers. I had a fantastic dad who was a very strong figure in my life. And they encouraged all interests, and they didn't push me into anything. So if I liked cars, they didn't say, oh, she's a boy. This isn't the only story about this. There is an entire channel called My Trans Life, which highlights trans kids. Here's a couple more.
My name is Ella, and I'm 7 years old, and I'm transgender. I realized that I was a girl when I was 4.
She would say, I think I was supposed to be a girl in your tummy. Why did I come out this way? We support our daughter's transition, even though we've had some judgment. A child cannot decide something like that. He is 6 years old. This should be against the law. Shame on you.
The hardest one for me to deal with is for people to call us child abusers. I want a happy and healthy kid, period. So if this is the way she needs to do it to be happy and healthy, so be it.
Yes, sir. You are doing child abuse. Why? Why do I say that you're doing child abuse, and why do all these people say that you're doing child abuse? Because a child cannot make those decisions. They are too young to understand consequences. And at age 4, children aren't even supposed to know the difference between boys and girls. I mean, really? You think that they know what a boy and a girl is? Do they know about babies at 4? Do they know that? Oh, you said live in the tummy. Oh, okay. So you've taught her about the stork, but at age 4? 4. So we've got age 2 and we've got age 4. And you think it's terrible that people say this is child abuse? Well, why? Why do we think this is terrible? Well, number one, if you put your child on puberty blockers, they're going to be sterile. And how can a child make that decision? They can't. They can't know the consequences because they don't know their own mind. Once again, if you will not let your 4-year-old get a tattoo, then they cannot transition. I think that should be a good rule of thumb. Everybody, that's our new argument. Can you get a tattoo? Okay, then you can't transition. Until you can legally get a tattoo, then you cannot transition.
The reaction when people hear that we have 2 trans kids is pretty shock and awe.
Yeah. Why are people shocked? Because statistically, that's almost impossible. Statistically. You might have had 1 trans kid, sure, okay. I still wouldn't allow them to transition. I would wait till they are an adult. But 2? You don't think it's possible that the first one was getting a bunch of attention and then the younger one wanted the same attention? Don't you think that's possible? Do you think kids don't lie? Do you think kids don't know their own mind? Do you think an 8-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old knows who they are at that age? Wow.
Before I had transitioned, I had like a piece missing to me and it just didn't feel right. And I was nervous to tell my parents.
Anyone can be whoever they want, and it doesn't matter what your opinion is.
Being trans isn't like weird, and it just means that you are biologically the opposite gender or a different gender than you are.
When James was 8 years old, he asked to transition, which meant social transition, which is not permanent. He got to use he and him for pronoun.
I always have been a boy, but I started to realize it in first grade when I told my mom I wanted to have my hair short and that I wanted to look less girly.
This is so sad. These children's lives are so sad. A piece is missing from you. Yeah, most kids feel that way. Most kids don't feel right. It's the job of the parents to help them feel right. What else was said? Anyone can be whatever they want. You will never be a girl, or you will never be a boy unless you were born that way. You can transition to try to look like the opposite sex, but you can't be anything you want to be. You cannot change into a boy. And if you tell a child that you can, they're going to be pretty darn disappointed. Okay, and trans is not weird. Okay. We cannot normalize trans as just something like anything else. Most people have 10 fingers, but there are people who are born with 9. So it is weird to have 9 fingers, to be born with 9 fingers. That is weird. Now, weird has a bad connotation, but the bottom line is this. The suicide rate for trans is around 40%. And the statistics that we know now is that if you leave kids alone, most of them will grow out of gender confusion. I've heard statistics anywhere from 60 to 85% of kids will grow out of it. So this is why we say this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. You heard him at the end. I didn't want to be girly. I wanted short hair. Well, hi, that was me. And now I'm a normal functioning woman. We have got to let these kids grow up and figure things out. So, okay, this is getting a little long. So the new rule is if you can't get a tattoo, you can't change your gender. Very simple. Republicans, everyone who believes me, when you go to the Congress, the bills should be titled at the top, if you can't get a tattoo, you can't transition. No cutting off the breasts unless you can get a tattoo. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you disagree with me. Tell me if you agree with me. I think we're really going to hurt an entire generation of kids. So thank you so much for all the support. We'll see you on the next one.